Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bonaventure from Texila American University. We want to welcome each one of you for having found time to join us in this live webinar that is going to be presented by Mr. Chibamba Kanyama on the current challenges and solutions, which is thinking out of the box. This is mastery for corporates and to the challenge to accept or to how to deal with the challenges that has come along with the COVID and this global pandemic. So first of all, before I begin, I'm going just to introduce Mr. Chibamba Kanyama so that those who may not have idea of who he is, I'm going to let you know that Mr. Chibamba Kanyama is a corporate leader. He is a public speaker. He's a communications specialist and also a strategist. He is a published author, television personality, investment advisor, and also advisor on economic policy and a journalist. Mr. Chibamba Kanyama, before founding Bridges Limited, a consulting firm in 2017, he has worked at the International Monetary Fund, which is the IMF in Washington, D.C., as communications advisor. He has also worked as a Director General of the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, ZNBC, Director of Corporate Affairs at the Zambian Breweries PLC, and Corporate Affairs and Marketing Director at the Zambia State Insurance Corporation Limited. Mr. Chibamba Kanyama has served on several boards for the public and private sectors as well as charity organizations. He is a fellow of the Institute of Directors in Zambia, an established corporate governance trainer of trainers, and a John Maxwell accredited coach and trainer. Mr. Chibamba Kanyama holds a Master of Science in Development Finance from the University of Reading in the United Kingdom and Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communications and Economics from the University of Zambia. He is also an author of 3 books of business, investment, and also personal development. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome Mr. Chibamba Kanyama to have this live presentation. Mr. Chibamba, your stage.
Right, thank you so much, Mr. Gwenlengwe, and welcome everybody who is joined us at this lunch hour for the next 40 minutes of discussion. I, of course, notice my pastor is there again today, Pastor Chris Maboshe from Chingola. I'm always delighted that you follow this discussion. Thank you so much for that. And I know that there are a number of other colleagues from my Facebook page, because at this time I pushed you to join, be part of us over this lunchtime. I see other names that may not be Zambian. One of the names reads as Nigerian. Nigerians are always with us here. They follow. So thank you so much, Nigeria. Last week we had Liberia as well. South Africa do follow. So welcome everybody. And before I delve into the issue for this afternoon, just want to find out from any one of you who is running a business, what have you developed during this COVID period? Any product or service that you have developed during this crisis time? Anybody out there who wants to share with us what product or service you have developed for your clients, for the market during this COVID period? Did anybody volunteer to share something? Nobody has. Nobody has come up with a new product. Okay. We have ourselves. I may be able to share, but my team feels I shouldn't share the detail of the product we have developed as a company in conjunction with other professionals, other business people, until we get the full license. So we would not want to mention it now until we get the license. Let's start. If there's somebody there who wants to share, I'd really be happy before I can get into the topic for today. If not, then we get there. We want to look at the business management, how you can manage your business during this period of COVID. It's of course a tough time for everybody. Many businesses are doing very badly. What I want us to discuss in the next 30 minutes is, first of all, just mention the rule of the thumb on investment and get a little bit into detail about some of the entrepreneurial insights, some of the, how do you want to behave as an entrepreneur now? What are some of the insights we can leverage on? And then there is what we call the strategy question. How do you begin to think outside the box when things don't appear to be looking positively? And of course, I'll give about 3 takeaways at the end of my presentation. Just to get into it, first of all, the reality is that the COVID has impacted on businesses, almost every business. I said it last week. Our own assessment shows that there's a contraction of economies, so the recession is real, and companies are losing business about 30%. It's about 60% to 80% for the hospitality industry. Some of them are actually closed completely. They are not there, and jobs have been lost. We never anticipated this happening, so the economic recession is real. Government is getting less and less revenues, and the prospects point to even future challenges for 2021. Even if we contain the virus now, I doubt whether the economic recovery will be very, very quick. For some countries, it may be very, very fast, but for developing countries, we know it takes longer to recover. So the impact has been general on the value chains. Value chain simply means even if you try very hard to run your business well, you apply all possible skills and acumen to manage your business, as we shall see later, it may not yield you the best results because you are not in control of your value chains. Value chains really are your suppliers on one hand, what they call the upward and backward linkages. So on the other side are the suppliers, on the other side is the market. So for countries that may be experiencing total lockdown, it's really serious. So you may run your school so well, but you can't open the school. Your kids are at home, you can do online learning, but parents are not paying because they feel we're not getting the full value of what you're offering. So the value chain impact is real. And of course, we also have what we call the increase in strategy risks. Some of the risks we are familiar with, foreign exchange risk, risks of default for commercial banks, people are not paying. There's a risk, operational risk in terms of the market, that your trucks can be locked at the border. So there are all these strategy risks, though we never anticipated this huge risk that is COVID itself. So there are many, many risks at this particular time. There is a call for strategic thinkers, therefore. So strategic thinking is about the need to forward think. Now, forward thinkers are people who leverage a problem. They see a problem happen and they say, this is the best time to plan. Why? It's because the risks are very visible when there's a crisis. And things will never remain low forever. So strategic thinkers think beyond the crisis. They say, after the crisis, I should not be found wanting. I should begin to plan now for the years of plenty. Okay, so it's being the years of plenty we thrive. So the investment rule of this thumb, this is my investment rule of the thumb, but other people have also qualified this, is that we should invest when things are looking down. So if you're an investor, this is the time to invest. This is the time to plan. Last week I had the question, of course, from Pastor Mawasha's team about land they want to buy, and I said this is the best time to buy the land. Why? It's because the risks are visible. You know what is not working. So the best time to plan about anything is when things are risky, because you're able to see those risks. And as a result, you're a little bit much more careful about what you put on board. You tend to be a little moderate about how much you can take on board because you are careful about things around you. And when things get better, you seem to have prepared about all those things ahead of time. And of course, asset prices stumbled during this time. House prices, land, people got no money. Liquidity challenges, there's no money now. Even governments have got no money now. So they're issuing corporate bonds. In Zambia, we now have almost a second COVID bond. Government itself is looking for money from people, those who got excess cash. They want to buy money and they will pay a premium for that. So this is the time to invest. Even if you got extra cash, you want to invest in a COVID bond by Bank of Zambia. They are raising about 2.3 billion kwacha. And if you've got 500,000, that's the minimum they're asking for. You can invest for 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 10 year. This is the time to invest your money. This is the time. When the economy shapes up, you are already there. That's what it means. When the things look up, you will not now begin to cleaning the plates. You know, I always say that you don't prepare food the time you want to eat it. You prepare food before you want to eat it. When it's time to eat it, it's already ready. So the best time to prepare for a fortune, for a turnaround into your economy, into our economy, is now. This is the time to invest your money. So the bottom line of everything here is that planners win during crisis. Planners win during crisis. That's a fact. People who plan well will see ahead of time. I don't know whether it's about time to somebody who is admitting the other side, please. Can you quickly admit? It's obstructing my screen. People are registering, and I need somebody to quickly admit people so that my screen is clean. Yeah. So planners win during crisis. This time of COVID, you would goal setters, people who are able to anticipate certain benchmarks for tomorrow. Okay, they are seeking information. When you are not doing much in your office, it's the time to access information to make what we call strategic alliances. You go beyond your borders. This time we got an opportunity of the online communication, like the Zoom and Microsoft Teams and other platforms. We're able to engage with different people across the globe. And individuals and companies are at this particular time positioning themselves for the post-COVID period. And I know this for sure. I have received numerous phone calls from colleagues from USA, from West Africa and Ghana, and who are saying, my brother, can we put things together now? I don't know them, but we came to know each other through the Zoom platforms. And we are beginning to plan about things that during this time, we are seeking information. Investors, entrepreneurs, people who seek information. There are systematic planners. They want to ensure everything is in place now because you've got time with you now. You've got time to do that. You are seeking opportunities wherever it is existing. The time for initiatives, persistency is a key thing. Look, let this crisis not bring you down. You should have survived many other challenges before you. The time to push for results is now. This is the time, by the way. What's happening now, government has been humbled, not only Zambian government, all governments, including the American government, the strongest economies in the world, all of them have been humbled by COVID. Everybody is extremely vulnerable. Everybody. Governments are vulnerable. The big entities, big corporations are vulnerable. Everybody's vulnerable. And when people are vulnerable, they listen more. This is the time to push a private business agenda to launch you for tomorrow, because everybody's listening and they want to hear the best ideas. So this is a time to initiate something, any sector now. Because things are so much down that governments are ready to welcome anybody with a brilliant idea. This is the time to fulfill commitments. What does it mean? That everybody is desperate to supply something. Everybody desperate to supply something. And those who win are individuals who got a track record of honesty, integrity, and fulfilling commitments as they come. So I would urge you, if you're an entrepreneur and you're at this time of crisis, there's a saying I have developed and it's now there, we are using it over. Your reputation before a crisis will take you out of a crisis. Your reputation before a crisis will take you out of a crisis. Some of you have trained, I know I always use a story of Mr. Roberts. Zambians in Lusaka know a man called Mr. Roberts, the late now. He was an entrepreneur based in Chilenge. 1990, we had food riots and people were looting shops everywhere in cities. Looting. In Chilenge, all shops were looted. But the same looters went to stand by the shop of Mr. Roberts, barricaded it to ensure nobody went in. And they said, no one shall go inside. When I was writing my book, my first book, I went to Mr. Roberts and I had a long chat with him. That's when he narrated this story to me. And I asked him one simple question. Why didn't they loot your shop? And he said, I invested in the people's lives before I needed them. I invested in people's lives before I needed them. So that during the time of a crisis, people remember me. In other words, your level of integrity will bear you out. When you fulfill commitments, people will stand with you. This time is the time when your integrity begins to pay back because people now want to go to those suppliers they can trust. You are investing in the future, knowing fully well that part of that investment is your own integrity levels. The time for efficiency and quality. This is the time to begin to polish up what you offer the market because there's not much liquidity out there for people to buy from you. This is the time people are looking for the best products, best quality products, and efficiently delivered. You have to pursue excellency. This is the time when you have to look for opportunities that you exploit with precision, not the way you have been doing business before. Business will never come to you now. You have to go for where it is. And people are looking for quality and efficient delivery because there's so much competition. There's a time now for achievers taking what we call calculated risks. Of course, the risk is part of an entrepreneur and you've got to be out there. It's time for influence, persuasion, networking, know who is who. This is time not to bury yourself in your home alone because of COVID. Use the online platforms to connect to people. Take advantage of every opportunity to sell to the market. Independence and self-confidence. I'm asking the people out there who may have to mute their microphones, please. I'll really be happy if you can mute your microphone. Okay. Self-confidence, independence, networking, persuasiveness. Here are the key questions, what I call the key strategy questions. This is now the core part of my presentation. What are the strategy questions that we need to be asking ourselves? The first question you want to answer for yourself, for your enterprise, for your business. Do we have the right strategy given what we do well? Do we have the right strategy given what we do well? And just as sharing an experience to you, during this COVID period, the company Bridges Limited has been overwhelmed with requests by businesses. Some of them sound so desperate. They say, look, as we want you to come now, say, but we don't have enough manpower to handle everything. No. Ours is now, is urgent. I need a strategy. I need a strategy. Even if today we receive the letter, we want to review our strategy because the circumstances have changed. Please, can you come and review our strategy to fit into the new changing environment? And we have so many of these companies now, because everybody's asking the question, do we have the right strategy, given what we do well? The second question that people want to ask is our strategy matched to the external environment, the economic, social expectations? What are some of the economic expectations? The governments are broke. Governments are looking for solutions. One young man, Zambian young man based in Europe, yesterday sent me a text, says, Mr. Kanyama, we know you are hooked well in the economy of Zambia. We have money, we got clients here who got money, who are ready to support any Zambian business that is supplying to multinationals. Any Zambian entrepreneur, whether you are supplying to ShopRite and you're short of liquidity, we want to supply that money because we know that there's liquidity challenges, but there are people who got cash here, our clients have got cash, and they want to lend to those companies at reasonable interest rates. The social expectations are changing today. Is your strategy as a business match to these social expectations of the people, the political expectations of the nation for next year? It's our election year. The other question you want to ask yourself, are we capable of executing this strategy? I call this the reality check. Reality check demands that you look at yourselves internally and ask, are we the right people to drive this strategy? Within Bridges, we said, do we have the competencies to meet the new challenges of our clients today? You know what? We have had to outsource some of the skills to complement what we have. Some of our consulting team members now are not even in Zambia, they are in Tanzania, but we are using the online platforms to help us beef up the team. Because we looked internally, we do not have all the resources to meet the demand. So the question is, do you have the right people? Do you have the capability? Do we have the right top management team that is driving strategy? And final on this question is, if the answer to one or more of these questions is no, what do you need to do to change? And this is a vital question that every business must honestly answer. It's a tough one, at times with very tough responses, and it will take some strategic action. Some of the action steps may not be very popular with your team, because you may have to restructure, to change management, but still getting the result. Your goal is that your business should survive. Your business should survive. It should not die. There are other questions now in terms of strategy. And I want to address the issue of your business model. This is what will help you to change and come out of the box. Here are the questions that go with your business model. One of them is, how will your business make money? Last night, we spent time with my team for the new company I talked about. We have got a new company. It will be announced very soon. We already put a management team. We have had a CEO, and he has also had team members. We have actually seconded part of our staff here to help him for 1 year. Now, yesterday, we were looking at the budget, a 6-month budget for the new company. And as we are concluding in the night, that was about 21 hours, one of the board members and investors asked the question, what we have there, what you have indicated to us is the revenue of projections for the next 6 months, but you have not given us the cash flow. And this was a very cardinal question asked at the very right time. Revenue projections are different from cash flow projections, because it is possible to sell something but not receive the money at the time you need it. It's possible to project that your business will make money, but that money will not be in cash for a little while. It may be in debt. So these are the questions that we want to ask about your business model. Is this model helping you to actually generate the cash that you need? Another question which will be asked later, how will you be competitive, especially during this particular time? There are certain things you may need to do to keep your afloat now. May not necessarily be appearing on television or splashing adverts in the newspapers. It may just be through customer service, excellent customer care. There are those add-ins that you may want to put on your product or service to give you. And another question that you're asking later, What will be the new value proposition? What are the new efficiencies in the production value chain? And how will the business make money? So I will go part by part on how will the business make money. First is understand the market dynamics. You must begin to focus from the domestic market to the global market. Today, with these new online platforms, you may need to rethink your strategy and say, look, I have been in this territory for far too long, and maybe this is the chance to seek new markets. Because the COVID challenge has opened the global market for me. I've been able to see across what's happening and how a lockdown of borders can easily affect one country or the other. So you are able to see now what gets in the country and what goes out of the country, and where you can leverage and take an advantage the post-COVID period or even during this particular time. Number two, which is very, very important for me and for you, is what we call changing the lead time process. This is about efficiency and speed. Lead time is the speed at which you execute your projects. I shared earlier on that our business is overwhelmed with a lot of clients at this particular moment. And we met with our team and we had to re-strategize and said, how can we increase our delivery time? Because in our kind of business, time is money. It's about time. What it takes us 90 days, can we do it in 45 days in half the time? So that we can take on board as much as we can take on board. So you may have to improve how you deliver, the speed at which you deliver anything. It's a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing. It's more than just you comparing your people. You have to put in certain systems to see who is the weak link in this business and begin to monitor those individuals and show them that your own survival depends on your efficiency, your ability to deliver on time. Now you don't have to wait. And if you can, you go for automation, because automation helps you to take advantage of the current market system. I was very impressed with one young lady yesterday. I did post on my Facebook page. She's one of those young ladies who call me dad, and we become very familiar with family, and she delivered something. I was so overwhelmed to see that. I ordered it via Facebook, and she was able to deliver using a motorcycle, delivered those items to my residence the following day, and I was able to pay. When you are that efficient, taking advantage of automation or technology, you will win. This time, yesterday we were launching, I'm ambassador for Wash Zambia. Wash Zambia is a new investment that was launched yesterday. All they do is laundry work, washing jackets and everything else. And what they have decided is they have bought a lot of motorcycles. I think I saw over 25 motorcycles there. And you have an app. All you do is just to make an order, press an app, and they'll come to your residence to pick up your laundry, and they'll deliver to your home. This is a new thinking during the COVID period, when people are scared of traveling and mingling and going out there. Someone thinks about technology. How best can we deliver laundry using an app? This is what makes you win. So the other question is competition. One is talent management. Winning companies know how to manage their staff. They know how to manage talent. Talent management is more than retaining your staff going to a competitor. Talent management ensures that your staff are well coached and understand the vision and projection of your business and where it is going. So effective talent management allows individuals to grow in your organization. And this is what we call creating the growth environment within your business. What this does to you, it empowers you as the CEO, as the manager, to see that your staff are ready to execute on your behalf. You are just there to monitor things without getting directly involved in the execution side of the business. 3 years ago, when we started Bridges Limited, we had a projection that within 3 years, I, as the key founder and the principal officer of Bridges Limited, will not be daily involved in managing and executing businesses. Because when you have got 8, 10 people working with you, and you are the one who is also executing, what are the others doing? So we projected that within this space of time, people shall learn how to do things, we shall manage them, coach them, train them, and 3 years, they should begin to do things on their own so that money can come from different perspectives. And this is what is happening right now. I've been here the whole day. My team are all out in the field. One team is doing a strategic plan. 3 members of the team are doing a strategic plan for the National Health Insurance Management Authority. Another team is doing another strategic plan for Zambia Medicines Regulation Authority. Another team is doing a strategic plan for the Levi Mwanawasa Medical University. So we are all spread. Me, I'm preparing for some training programs for next week. Another one is planning for board meeting. Janet is planning for board meeting. We're having our first board meeting ever on the 31st of this month. So each one now is able to execute. And it's such a pleasure when the results begin to show. Some of the activities I just go there for the signing of the contract, and that's really it. My team is able to execute. Another one is actually doing another strategic plan for JIZ. So we are all spread across because you are able to train your team. Product differentiation and branding. So this means that everybody is trying to offer the same product. If it's about the haircut, about shop, what are you going to do differently in your business? Are you going to do it like every other person? The product differentiation for some products is very simple. It may just be to do with a coffee. As you wait for me to do your hair, can I do a coffee? Or like one young man has done, Mr. Kanyama, you're so busy to come to my barber shop here. I will come to your home. So the last two, he has driven to my house to cut my hair and the hair of my son right there. So this is what we call product differentiation, doing something differently. Find your niche market. Now, there is something I developed some years ago. This is the kind of philosophy, and I always say, even where elephants graze, there is grass for the rabbits. Even where elephants graze, there is grass for the rabbits. What I mean by that is, even when there are big players who appear to monopolize the market, there is space for you. There is a place where the elephants won't reach because they are too big. That is where you should be. You can be grazing under their feet because they can't reach for the grass that is under their feet. That is your niche market. Focus on your niche market and exploit it to the maximum, because you can play even among the big players. We are competing among the big consulting firms in this country, some of them with international brands. And we compete with them because we have offered something unique to the market, and the market has trusted us for that. New value proposition. New value proposition is simply saying what is good for the customer. Because today, customers are different from the customers of yesterday. Customers today are asking, how does your product benefit me? Is it just an association, or is it a brand that it makes me look healthy and strong? So you need to do what we call customer needs through research. What are the customers looking for today? We had challenges with Coca-Cola when I worked with Coca-Cola. We had challenges with the new players on the market because the clients are looking for healthy drinks now. The clients are looking for healthy drinks. So what does Coca-Cola do? We shall get into the health product while still maintaining our own brands We will introduce Minute Maid. So Minute Maid is really a Coca-Cola brand, which is on the healthy side. And then Coke Zero. So you have to add value to your customers by doing research. Because customers are running away from sugar, introduce Coke Zero, introduce Minute Maid for soft drinks. You are actually looking at customer benefit. Remember, this should be at the back of every business. This is the key question that you should be asking yourself. How is my product benefiting my customer? What value is it adding? Remember, like one of my great authors, Michael Gerber, has written, and I said, I'll quote him at the very end anyway. Gerber says, the power of a customer entrepreneur is to always ask the question, what good is my product doing to the one who buys it? You are not in business for you. And I think this is the time you must really do that, ask yourself that question honestly. Is my product good enough for the market? Or it just gives me the prestige that I'm in this business? What value is it going to give the customer? Remember that customers now want to pay less for more. They want maximum value at lower price. That should be your question. That should be at the back of your mind. They want higher value, but at lower price. New efficiencies. This is the time to begin to plan how you want to do new efficiencies. This is thinking outside the box about cost reduction initiatives. A number of companies now are beginning to say, oh, this is costing us too much. This is costing us too much. Now we have noticed that we can actually get part of our staff members work from home. You are able to see where the cost structure has been. Fuel, for example. Now we are able to say, so it costs us so much on fuel because people are now not traveling to the office as much as before. They're not traveling for business as much as before. You are able to notice what is driving the cost in your business. Are you going to reintroduce it after COVID? No. You have to learn something from this experience. You have to now look for efficient value chains. Now, you used to import most of your products before COVID. Now you can't import them anymore. You have now realized there's a local supplier in Zambia who can supply things at lower price. By the way, one company, after we did some work for them, one CEO said one comment in April, says, you know what? We didn't know until this COVID period. We did not know that we have got companies that can offer 2 times better value at 2 times less the cost. Local companies. He was telling us after we did some work for them. We didn't know. That's what he said. We did not know that there are companies in Zambia that can give us 2 times better value for a job we had and expected to do at 2 times less the cost. It's the time to what we call route to market. This is the time you change the strategy. How do you reach your market? How do you reach your target market? No, online platforms. Now, because you cannot go there and sell anymore, there's COVID. Some people now are innovative. I've had so many invitations. One young lady I've been engaging from Copperbelt said, you know what? You can actually begin to do conferences and workshops completely using the online platform, and people will pay. And I said, hey, can we talk? Can we talk? Route to market. How do we reach out to our clients? Because we are also in training. We got contract that's been pending. Bank of Zambia contract has been pending because of the same challenge we are having. Now we can't meet, we can't train them. So we have to be innovative. So it has opened our minds that we can actually make money by using the online platforms because the route to market. How do you reach your market without getting money? In conclusion, I want to give you some key takeaways. Here are the critical takeaways. Please, if you want to survive now, look for skilled business managers and administrators to help you. This is the time to look for outside help. If you can, you will find them. When Zimbabwe was going through some serious economic challenges, what we did in Zambia was to go and hunt for the best skills there. And I was personally going to Zimbabwe to recruit staff and hire them at very affordable fees. because of a crisis they are going. Right now, because of a crisis many companies are going through, you are very, very likely to find the best managers, because some of them have been laid off. Others are not making as much money. They are willing to join your team and be part with you. Remember, you can never win alone. Liverpool, congratulations if there are any Liverpool supporters there. I congratulate you humbly for winning, because they say you cannot walk alone. It took them 30 years to get it, but because they were consistent, persistent, they stood together, never losing sight of the vision. It may take long, but they got it. They are there, the champions. We utilize the business information management systems, invest in ICT, and also motivate and manage your staff. Every day you have to motivate them, you have to manage them, ensure you give them necessary tasks so that they are not loafing. They must be productive. After all, you are paying them salaries during this particular COVID period. Where are you making the money from? They have to be working, every one of them. They need to be encouraged and motivated. And I'll conclude by tapping, of course, there's another one that says customer care. You can never undervalue customer care now. This is the time you kneel before your customers. If you have never said thank you, it's the time to learn to say thank you, because they are supporting you. Michael Gerber says something that I value so much. He says, your business is nothing more than a distinct reflection of who you are. What this means is, before you can change your business, change you. Before you can change your business, change you. There's what many people who train in human resource, which we use, we call it the iceberg. The iceberg is, the tip of the iceberg is just kind of shows you behavior. But underneath the waterline, underneath the waterline, that's where things happen. That's where emotions are, the value systems are. That is where the principles are. That's where the beliefs are. That's where the thoughts are. That's where the fears are. The feelings are. It's really under the waterline. And this is about you, the person. The business succeeds because the owner, the man at the top. Remember, John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on leadership. If your business is struggling, it means that the owner is internally struggling. If the business is moody during the COVID period, unpredictable, insincere, lacks transparency, it points to the owner that is moody, is insincere, lacks transparency. It's a reflection of you. As I conclude here, I want to challenge you, change you, invest in you, see what you can do to change you before you can make your business succeed during this period of COVID. If you can succeed personally and maintain your mental state and remain focused, your business will respond likewise, because your business is nothing more than a distinct reflection of who you are. So we got 5 minutes on my watch. Perhaps there could be some contributions or questions.
So before the questions come, we just want to see some contributions from the chat messages. Mr. Simbe Harrison commented powerful message content here. Mwewa Lisa, insightful and eye-opening. Bilon Kalumbinga, this is powerful and very helpful indeed. I would definitely adapt some of this information in my church.
That's my bishop there, below bishop. I've got 2 bishops now.
All right.
So Bishop Bilon Kalumbinga.
Okay, yeah, and then
good.
From Chris Mavoshe, he says, this is a quote, I think that was said during the presentation.
Yes, my other pastor.
Into business for you. Then Simbe Harrison says, this message is life-saving. We struggled recently for our business because people always wanted to reach our office, but not anymore. We had to put in technology so that we remain in business. Thank you. Then Chris again says, awesome and valuable lessons here. Agnes, this is exactly what we need in Zambia. Tasha Smasiku, you are saying mind stimulating presentation. Mambwe Charwe, you are saying change you to change your business. This is one of the quotes, I think, as he was summarizing. Chisulo Sakala, you are saying validation for some strategic actions in progress. And then Agnes again comes back to say, this information is valuable for my thesis. I think Agnes should be a student somewhere. And from Nsama, he says, lunchtime well spent. That's great. And then Wilson
always follows me. Sama Colombo always follows, yeah.
Yeah, and then finally from Wilson, he says, talent management, that's the way to go. Let business move even in your absence. Then Chris Maboshe, he has a question. Do you think voluntary workers systems will still be able to survive in this COVID-19 period? And how do you motivate them? Then that was just a question. Maybe you can answer it, because the rest what are coming are just commendations.
Yes, definitely. You know, when things are not looking up, your first objective is to sustain the business. And the motivation to your staff is, look, we are in it together. No one shall jump the boat. Can we see our boat sail through the storm? And things will definitely calm down at some point. So Pastor Chris Mabosh, who is himself a pastor, understands this dynamic very well. Like Paul taught the jailers and others, please, the boat may be destroyed, but everybody will survive. The aim is to save lives, is to survive, to get ashore. So the business should get ashore together. And I personally believe that even if you don't pay staff, God has been very gracious with the bridges. I must really say this, that we have not failed to pay salaries. We have been consistent paying salaries for all staff members, but we never lay off anyone. Not a single one will be laid off. And I've assured every member of staff, this one, we are in it together. Even if time comes, if it comes, it won't come, but just in case it does, we don't have money, everybody will have to sacrifice. And we'll be here for voluntary work, but we'll be paid for it at some point. So yes, we can still sustain businesses by asking for those individuals, workers, to be volunteers, and at one point they will reap the benefit of that investment.
Thank you, Mr. Chibamba, for that response. Davis Chiwaya from Botswana, you are saying, wow, I salute, sir. I'm benefiting while I'm working here in Botswana. Nkonde Chola, very good presentation, and I'm shaping business via post-COVID era. Robert Mwinga, honestly, look into the issue of online workshops. It will give us all a chance to participate. Distance is not a barrier. I think this is an advice to the presenter. Agnes, again, you come with your question. Where can we access information regarding investment in government bonds? And then Nkonde has also, I think, the last question. My question is, what would a startup entrepreneurs do to identify business opportunities? Maybe those two be our last questions, then we'll be able to summarize and close the meeting.
Thank you. The information about Bank of Zambia, I just read it in the newspaper. I can't remember which paper I saw it, either the Paul Mast, Daily Mail, or news tickers, but just access that information. And also can phone Bank of Zambia. Bank of Zambia will always be happy to guide you. They have actually given information about it. You can also invest via a mutual fund. There are some unit trusts, some investment companies that invest in bonds on behalf of people who cannot have 500,000 minimum. So you can invest through what we call unity trusts. Unity trusts are collective units that bring money from smaller investors who can't reach that benchmark of 500,000, and they invest it on your behalf. Because they'll get 100 of them, then you make 500,000, and they invest it for you. So that's the benefit of that. But you can get information from Bank of Zambia. On the question of how do you identify business opportunities, there are certain things that you need to do. Number one is to know who you are. Don't do business you don't understand. That's the first thing. Don't do business you don't understand. Invest in a business you understand how it makes money. That is the rule of the thumb. That's number one. So the starting point for any business is you look at your level of exposure. What do you know? What do you understand? Okay? Because business is you. Business is you. Business is, it comes from inside. You, number one, you look at your talent level. And if you've got talent, a passion over something, all you need to do is now to train how to give skill to what you love to do. So there are many, many ways you can identify. I'm in the business I love personally. The other business which I haven't mentioned, what it is, I have a passion around it for a long time and I understand how it works. This one, I know how it works. So the starting point is to know the business you want to do, what knowledge do you have about it, what skills do you have about it. That way you will sustain that business. The bottom line is, and Warren Buffett, by the way, actually said it as well, do not put money in a business you don't understand. So if you are a retiree, or you are not even a retiree, but you have been working in an institution, the best starting point is, what did you learn from your company? If you're a truck driver, what did you learn about transport? We've got Euro Africa by Mr. Chomba. Euro Africa, Mr. Chomba used to be managing director of UPZ. He did business, he understood. So the starting point is where you are right now. What experience have you gained? That experience is your business. That is your starting point. Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to read the last contribution, which should be our last one. From Macpherson Munsanje, excellent presentation from Mr. Kanyama, and many thanks to the organizers for putting up such a webinar. Thank you from Texila. I'm a startup businessman, and this discussion is invaluable to me. It also gives me a second perspective of the private sector, being an employee of the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. Mr. Msanje, thank you so much that this webinar has been very helpful to you, and even at the way that you are going to look at things from now onwards. I remember Mr. Kanyama was saying, even where the elephants are grazing, there is still the grass for the other little animals. Thank you so much for that. Mr. Chibamba Kanyama, I want to thank you sincerely on behalf of our Vice Chancellor, our Regional Manager, Mr. Kathik. I want to sincerely thank you for coming on board to have these presentations. To the organizers, thank you so much for spending and sparing your time to be part of this event. We'll call you again, and God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.